Today we're going to be talking about solving two-step equations. Last time we talked about solving one-step equations. We talked about inverse operations, how to undo an operation, and we talked about reciprocals. Today we're going to take what we've learned in the past and just add one step to it. So in the past, if we had the problem x plus 5 equals 11, we would do the inverse operation of adding 5, which is subtracting 5. Because we did it to one side, we do it to both sides. So we get x plus 0, because 5 minus 5 is 0, x equals 11 minus 5, which is 6. This is what we did last time. This is a one-step equation. To add on to this one-step equation, for example, to make it a two-step equation, which is what we're covering today, you would write it as x over 2 plus 5 equals 11. So we've added something new here. What we've added is this division by 2. That wasn't in this equation. Because we've done this, now we have to do it in two steps. We can't just subtract 5, although that is the first step. So step 1 is to isolate the x. Step 1, isolate the x. Step 2 is to perform inverse operations on x. And by on x, let me show you what I mean. So the first step is to isolate the x. Well, that's what we did before. We said, let me get a different color here. We said minus 5 equals minus 5. In which case, we have the new equation, x over 2 equals 6. So we've completed step 1, we've isolated the x. Now we need to perform the inverse operation on x. X is still being divided by 2. The inverse operation of division is multiplication. So now we're going to multiply x over 2 by 2, and we're going to multiply 6 by 2. 2 over 2 is 1. These cancel and leave you with x. 6 times 2 is 12. So x equals 12. Let's do another example. The next example that we're going to do is 5x plus 9 equals 24. The first thing that we want to do is isolate the x. We want to have our x's on one side, we want to have our 9's on the other. Sorry, we want to have our numbers on the other. So we do the inverse operation of 9 because it's next to x. We want to get it by itself. And we do an inverse, then we subtract 9 on the opposite side. And we end up with 5x equals 24 minus 9 is 15. 5x equals 15. Now, we need to perform the inverse operation on x. X is being multiplied by 5. The inverse operation of multiplication is division. So we'll just divide both sides by 5. we're left with x equals 15 over 5. So x equals 3. One last time. There are 2 steps to solving a 2-step equation. The first step, step 1, is to isolate the x, or the variable in other words. Step 2 is to perform the inverse operation on x. That's it for a day. Have a great night.